see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So yesterday we stopped at why agile. Today let's try to understand the agile manifesto, the four values and 12 principles that are there in agile. Okay. So for this, I'll directly go to the website. Open Google. Okay. Agile manifesto.org. The website. See, this is where agile values and principles are defined.
Okay.
Okay, these are the four values that's there, and we have 12 principles here. These are the 12 principles. The 12 principles are more of a derivatives of the four values. So it's more of a derivatives of four values. So knowing these four values is really important, and if you can by heart this, that would be very helpful also for your interviews and other things. No, they might ask you in the interview questions. It can be either a direct question, what are the four values, or it can be indirect question, like for all the scenario based questions, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
you have to say that as per agile values, this is what it says. So this is how we work. So you can apply these for your scenario based questions. So what I'm trying to say is it's good to by heart this. Know this by heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So let's try to understand each of this one by one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
The first value says individuals and interactions over process and tools. See, as a BA or in any project, yeah, forget about the role. Just in the project itself, right? There will be various processes that will be followed, various tools that you will be using, and things, right? So what Agile says is, hey, look, okay, you have the process, you have the tools, that's fine. But focus more on the customer. Give more importance to individuals. Talk to them more. Interact more. Give, focus more on, focus more on interactions and customers and individuals rather than you sticking to the process and tools. Okay. Let process and tools take a back step. Back step when individuals and interactions come into picture. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it says. Meaning, like for example, when you're talking to a customer, you cannot say that as per process is what it is, as per process no, this is what it is, right? So you have to you know, get get to the get to understand the individual, get to understand the customer, try to talk to the customer more rather than saying that okay, as per process I'll talk to you only once in a week. No. So on need basis, you have to interact as and when needed and get stay connected. That's what it says. The second value says working software or comprehensive documentation. See, so this is the focus should be more on working software rather than detailed documentation, right? So customer doesn't care about detailed documentation. All customer cases is a is the software that are requested for working or not, right? He doesn't read the documentation. Like, and take an example here. Assume a customer came, he gave the requirements a month back. A month back, he gave the requirements, he went away. And, for some reason, he's not available. Now, customer comes back after a month and asks, hey, where are we on the project? At that point, we cannot say that, you know what, in this 1 month, we were detailing out the requirements. We're doing we're documenting all the requirements. The customer will say, I don't care about the documentation. See, show me something that's working. Show me something that's working, right? So, in this 1 month, you should have at least developed a registration page for your for an app or site, whatever it is. You would have shown that registration page at least. The customer would have been happy, right? So, for the customer, the priority is a working software. beyond anything else. Okay, that's the second point. The third point is customer collaboration over contract negotiation. Any project will have a contract. Any project will have a contract, no doubt in that, right? But when it comes to customer, again, we need to see how we can tackle the tackle the boundary of the contract, right? So what I'm trying to say here is, assume you have a contract for a project, and then where certain requirements are defined. Certain requirements are defined, saying that, okay, hey, you know what? As per the contract, the customer should be able to, after the purchase, they should be able to check out the order and do the payment. And the payment options that would be available is credit card payment, debit card payment, and maybe, yeah, these are two options. Now, maybe after a few days, the customer comes back and says, hey, you know what? You know, as I'm speaking to others, I feel we need to have more payment options. I feel, there are a lot of people who are using PayPal. We need to have PayPal payment option. So, but that's not mentioned as part of contract. However, we cannot say that, look, that's not there in contract, we won't do it. That's not how it works. So we need to put it in a way that, okay, it's not there as part of contract, but we'll take it up. However, it will extend the timelines. Are you okay with that? If the customer says that, no, you cannot extend the timelines, then we'll ask, okay, then you reduce the scope. Tell me what is the lowest priority item which we can remove and add this feature. If the customer says something, well and good. Otherwise, okay, if you don't want to reduce the scope, if you don't want to reduce the time also, then you give us more money. We'll add more resources and get it done. So the budget increases. The customer has to agree for one of these three things, either budget, scope, or time. One among these three things have to be compromised by the customer if the change has to be taken up. So that's how we collaborate with the customer rather than upfront saying that it's not there in contract, we won't do it, right? So the customer collaboration is very important. Where we try to figure out a solution which works out for both the parties. And finally, the fourth value is responding to change or following a plan. Of course, any project will have a plan in place, so we'll go according to the plan. But at times you may have to pivot and and respond to the change. Take a scenario of the COVID itself. The way we responded to the how we work, how we commute, how we talk to people, the hygiene wise, everything, right? We responded to change. We never had you know these things in plan where okay, I'll be working from home. We never had that. That was never planned. But we had to respond to change, right? So that's a very generic example. But if you take a specific example, right? Now assume in this COVID, this thing itself, assume the requirement is, or you're told to develop a mobile app for CNN news, and the requirements was, hey, we need to have a breaking news section. We need to have sports news, Asian news, American news, political news, various sections. This is what the initial requirement was. But when COVID came in, people were looking for specifically COVID related news. They wanted it on the, on the, top, or we wanted a separate section for COVID news itself. But that was never planned. We don't have a plan for that. We have to take it and do it at the earliest. Otherwise, what will happen is people will uninstall your app and they will install, be it Fox News or whatever it is. So CNN News, they lose the competition. That is, our customer is losing the competition if we are not responding to the change, right? If we are not responding to the change, then our customers are losing the competition. So these are the four values. Okay, these are the four values of Agile. Any questions here so far?
So the value would be the individual and interaction. That is the value, or over the that we have to remember, or entire line we have to remember.
They should be enough. They should be enough. But if
Individual
you
and
can,
interaction, working
yeah, yeah.
software, and like
So
that, right?
customer collaboration, responding to change. If you can remember everything, well and good. But the highlight is this. The first part is the highlight.
Okay. Okay, got you.
Yeah, yeah. I'll come to that. But any other questions?
Nope.
Okay. See, read this. Uh, Digita, any questions?
Oh, good.
Okay. So if you read this, while while there is value in the items on the right, so we are not saying completely ignore process and tools, completely ignore documentation, completely ignore contract, completely ignore the plan. These things have value, but when compared to this takes this has more value. This is more important when compared to this. So we need to value the items on the left more. When compared to process and tools, individuals and interactions has more value. When compared to detailed documentation, working software is more important. When compared to contract, customer collaboration is more important. When compared to having a detailed plan, responding to change is more important. So that's how it is.